Hello everyone and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. Today we have one where I'm playing as the Red Dragons Coalition, although mostly I think using Chinese units as they are a little bit more, well, more unicorns I suppose. Some of my favorite transports in the entire game, actually the Huaseng Cheng, which has 4 Iglas, 24 to 50 meter range, and decent speed I think, yes, decent, well, no, it's mechanized. For 20 points can oftentimes be a very good, valuable transport. So we have also our little helicopter squad headed forward, fighting against a Gazelle 341F Canon, as well as a Helo Hunter, and by this I mean, if we take a look, it's 120 points, which is pretty expensive, but 2 sets of missiles. So we have the R-27T Vimple, as well as the R-73A Vimple, 6 HE and 5 HE respectively, and 2100 meter range against helicopters, 45-ish, 42-ish against planes. So not exactly an air superiority fighter, but able to really make good use of those missiles against helicopters. So 2 of the Puma Pirates go down right off the bat, the other 2 are damaged, and the follow-up comes in from a TY-90, so almost able to get all 4 of them. Now we do lose the Helo Hunter, and that is the risk with those sorts of things. If there's good AA, they're not exactly resilient to that, so actually a bit of a bad trade for us there. I really just wanted to, we got a bad points trade, but it also did prevent my opponent from moving up hardly at all here, because everything got flattened. He sees the helicopter squad, sending in a Rafale of all things against a B5 bomber, which I was trying to hit that entire armored column, and then I switched the targeting priority to the woods when I saw a couple of things come over here, and B5 unfortunately goes down. Rafale escapes after taking a single hit from SU-27 SK. So we did get a couple kills in the woods. It looks like maybe, yes, a couple vehicles, probably a tank or an AA system. And now I'm building out defenses in Fetter. So we have ZTQs, these are 60-point scout tanks, not exactly the best, but 17 AP will do alright for a lot of work in, well, mid-range open field type stuff. We also have infantry coming over here to the west into Anna, although, it is Chinese infantry and it's not exactly great, but Bosheng Su are leading the way. And I have a couple, Lu Jiandui behind them, and more Lu Jiandui, if that's how you say it. Lu Jiandui, I'm not sure. AMX-40s and AMX-10 RCSB are in the woods, and this is going to be an excellent firing position for my opponent, as I do lose all of the transports. That's I usually just move up into this sort of wood line here on the eastern side. AMX-10P Milans are also going to be giving me a hard time, as my ZTQ does spot them and open fire, but gets spotted in return. Let's see, second shot's a miss, so we have missed 2 60% chances by now, because of course we did. More Milans on the way, and we're able to hit one, but not kill, which actually kind of surprised me. Turns out these guys have 3 frontal armor, which, hey, that can survive a mid-level tank shot, and since we've hit 1 shot out of 4, that's kind of all it needs to do. Going in with more Milans again, and finally we get a kill on 1 of those. In addition, I think, yes, I think some of the radar AA is gone. No, not quite yet. But now there are VABs moving up toward that central woods, and we have secured a defensive position in Anna. It's not the most widely fleshed out, but at least it is something, and ZTS is opening fire on the VABs. But unfortunately, the city's blocking line of sight. So at this point, I cap Fetter, looking for that +1 ticking in this conquest game. And I'm also moving up a T90S and a little bit of scouting on the right-hand side of Fetter. I often find that this area is not really the best guarded, but, saying that, of course, now I do see something French, and it is an AMX-30 Roland 3 moving up, which will kill my helicopters if I'm not careful. And now we have the March of the VABs. So French infantry moving up to the woods here, a VAB shooting my Lu Jiandui, and all of a sudden this doesn't really look that well defended, so I'm bringing out more infantry, probably another tank as well real soon, as Bocheng Su get a little overwhelmed. So Legion will of course rip through them, VAB T-2013 supporting fire, as well as an AMX-10 RCSB, and these Bocheng Su are having a really bad day, but we get a couple of kills on the VABs, which is alright. Bocheng Su, I think, are 10 points each. The fancier VAB with the autocannon is 15, so that's at least worth something. And there was an AMX Roland 3 moved up way too far that is going to be suffering from this Huaseng Cheng, and it does go down. It was a misclick, I think, by my opponent there, mentioned during the match. And AMX-10 is now dueling with the ZTQ, so of course these are both scout tanks, but the ZTQ with 17 AP and 8 frontal armor is a bit better armored and actually a bit better has a bit better gun than the AIM-X10 or CSB, although the accuracy is 5 points better on the AIM-X10. There's no stabilizer. So of course they're both nearly dead and about half dead, so I'm moving my ZTQ back. I don't really want to make that trade. 60-point tank into a 40-point tank, no thank you. Lu Jiandui are also shooting at an AIM-X40, but, well, AIM-X40s have an autocannon on top, which he's not actually using. Interesting. He's using the main gun. But, well, it is effective enough, especially as Vabs come in, and my Lu Jiandui are getting killed. So I'm getting kind of pushed out of Anna. Feder is a decent holding position here, and I also want to push farther into Dmitry. I have ATGMs in the town, Tenka Shashio and Li Ren, so we have scouting here, so we can see the AIM-X10s. We have Tenka Shashio for anti-vehicle support, because these guys have their recoilless rifles, 16 AP power, pretty good in that regard, and I have a WZ-550 that is shooting at AIM-X10s. So we did kill some of those transports, I think, and force the chasseurs to hop out while panicked, which is never exactly what they want to do. And this guy is just, he's trying to cut off reinforcements at that town, right? So nearly 3,000 meter range on ATGM, 70% accuracy is very, very capable. And I think I should be calling out another one here real soon for the right-hand side of the map, but it doesn't look like I do that quite yet. Legion and that Vab killing the rest of my Lu Jiandui, and now I have to worry about things getting through into this pocket. So we have a Chanmo 5 back here. I'm trying to call out a command vehicle to secure Dmitry, as Anna has been capped by my opponent, which now means that Lowing is ticking at +1, so not exactly looking great for me at the moment here. BRDM2s, however, are moving up and around, and this one is headed all the way back over to Boris, so we'll keep an eye on what happens there, as it does get a little bit funny. And this is just a standard command Jeep. I know they're not the best. I think I've replaced this now, but it's what I had at the time. M201s are going to be on the receiving end of ATGM fire, but they're almost not worth the missiles that are being launched at them, of course, and my command vehicle narrowly dodges an ATGM himself, so pretty nice. But unfortunately that means that Lowing will know where that CV is, so not exactly ideal there. The Bunting Fed goes missing more shots than they hit, of course, naturally, but able to shoot at that M201 because of the scouting from Li Ren in central town, which control of this town, really, hold on. That was what, 6? You've hit 1 of 6? That's so horrible. Okay, let's see how many you can hit. Okay, alright. 2 of 7. And I'll say 7 instead of 8, because the other one would have immediately lost tracking. So we do have eyes on AMX-13 Wall Noir on the left-hand side, and on the right, my T90s and ZTQs are moving up and around and not spotting anything. So the ZTQ, of course, scout tank, is going to be trying to clear something in the woods here and just make sure that the T90S doesn't face too much resistance. This is a really heavy tank, so I really should have been supporting with mortars, but I was hoping to rely on the element of surprise, if nothing else. So incoming howitzer fire, and that is going after my command vehicle in Dmitry, so that's immediately moved, but stunned by the second shot, which often happens for unarmored targets with howitzers. Here comes an ATGM, let's see what it can do, and there is a bit of a miss there, so finally benefiting me as well, with those things not being very good, and the BGA 212 is able to get into the other wood line. So that will resecure Dmitry, but I am losing 17 to 4. Neither one of us has anything ticking. BRDM2 is up and around the other side though, which is nice, and my BRDM2 in the back, just this simple little 15-point scout vehicle, is getting all the way over to Boris. So hopefully we'll have some vision there, and that's sort of what I'm waiting on as I secure the lines a little bit. We have another WZ-550 immediately taking down an AMX-10 RC, and should be firing here at the RCSB as well. Let's take a look, and yep, 2 shots, 2 kills. Now that is a trustworthy ATGM, and of course, being at 80 points, that has just barely remade its cost with the 2 AMXs, so kind of funny there. And now we lose the CV to howitzer fire, as, yeah, I mean, he saw it move. That was always going to happen as soon as that thing was spotted. Kind of goes to show why you shouldn't use command jeeps for situations like that. That's on me. But hey, live and learn, right? So Anna hasn't been pushed through, in part because I think my opponent is trying to be a little bit more cautious, trying to really secure Anna before he pushes out of it. We have 30 minutes anyway, and he's taking out a +1. There's no real reason to attack. But in the back here, a BRDM2 does spot the P4PC, and my gun is currently off, but as I make it to the wood line, that does get turned on, and let's see what we can do. P4PC goes down in a matter of seconds, and that's a decapped Boris, which means no air support for right now for my opponent until he resecures it, no reinforcements of any kind until he resecures it, and with the support from the WZ having just cleared out those woods, I'm figuring that center is going to be not well defended. So we have the ZTQs headed up, we have a T90S headed up as well, as another ZTQ and BTR is trying to secure this central woods, so if there's nothing else there, we should be able to take it for ourselves. Bangtank Fago also headed up that way to try to get into this side of the woods and start projecting strength into center instead of just into the no man's land between the two. ZTQ is opening fire at some reinforcements. I think these were infantry, not exactly sure, but it looks like AMX-13s because, well, they survived a 17 AP shot, so should probably be, well, kinetic versus heat is a little weird, but yeah, AMX-13 BTTs, and it will take 2 hits to kill them. Chasseur is moving up as well, and T90S is now going to be opening up as the ZTQ gets into a sparring match with an AMX-10, but I mean, these guys, they're not a hard counter, I would say, but they are a better performing variant, at least when it comes to a direct firefight. So the BRDM2 moving up again, and we spot something in the woods here that's going to be shooting at us, but not within range of the tank weapons. So the BRDM2, not attack move this time, force path, just standard right click, is going to be moving up into the other line of woods, and we spot a César, and we spot something else too, and this was another P4PC. So that is spotted, the other tanks on the side are still moving up, and I'm relying on my opponent being a little bit stressed here to not call out ATGM planes. A bit risky. It was safer before Boris was capped again, and here comes a plane, so we'll have to see what that is going to be doing. It looks like seed plane, so that I do lose my radar AA. B5 bomber gets evac ordered because I thought this was an air superiority fighter coming after him, but the BRDM2 in the back able to kill another P4PC, and now is opening fire on the César. So Boris has been decapped, center was decapped because Boris was decapped and that CV was moved backward. Anna is still held by my opponent here, but that really doesn't matter so much if center and Boris fall. So ZTQ and T90s still moving up. There's an AMX-40, but this won't be able to handle the T90S, which is what I'm relying on. Seed plane coming out again, but now no good targets near the home zone here. And let's see, yep. 2 shots going in, and let's see if we can get another one from the T90S. We do, and that tank is down, which means probably a significant portion of the reinforcements that were called in response to this push are now down. And, well, if center isn't well defended, that'll sort of be game right here as the ZTQs spot and kill other things there. Now, my BRDM is finally taken out. I think that was by infantry and IFVs in Boris, but let's see, T90s fighting more AMX-10s. Unfortunately, missing the first shot per usual, but there it is, actually kills by the ZTQ. 10 rounds, we're running out of guns, that's kind of funny. ZTQ able to defend against reinforcements coming back, and the T90s blowing through more AMXs. This is why you need some sort of super heavy at some point to anchor a side, because the T90 just doesn't have anything that can reasonably compete with it. And this is going to be pretty close to game, as there's another CV in Boris, probably called out the last time Boris was capped, just to try and replace what was in center. T90S, and there was an attempt at cluster bombing. It does take down ZTQ. Tiger's now coming out and shooting at the T90, but now we have our own reinforcements here as well. Gunships, a TY90, and that saves the T90S tank on a single point of strength, which we're now going to be using this sort of control to counter-cap Boris, and that's going to be all she wrote, as the last CV is taken out by an MI8 gunship. So, in terms of kills, losses, Red 4 had 3390 to Blue 4's 940, a bit overwhelming. A lot of that came from the second half of the game where, you know, we were killing a bunch of command vehicles, we were killing a bunch of things that weren't supposed to be in the direct line of fire, and then also the T90S sort of bowling through the back lines. We can see a lot of kills from that thing. AMX-10P Milan, AMX Roland 3, Chasseurs, a couple transports, a couple tanks as well, including an AMX-40 and an AMX-10 RC, as well as a kill on a P4PC, which, I mean, hey, that's going to more than pay for himself for that T90S. So that's all we've got for today. Thank you all for hanging around. We'll see you again real soon.